So welcome to week 10 in how to create your character. And a quick update on where we are in our process. First, we looked at why bother. Well, you want to create a character because you're looking for a unique life, a unique team to pursue in that life, and a unique purpose for you all to go at together. And then we looked at how to actually create your character, build an image for your character, emotions for your character, and 3 abilities, which was then followed up with the story, the origin of your character, the present of your character, and the eventual dream that your character is pursuing. And now we're going to get into the lesson. This is all for something. It has a reason behind it. Your character and your story has a reason, a purpose for which you're creating them, and that is the lesson. The lesson that your character will teach the world. And finally, we'll wrap it up with what this is all for. So as we come to instructive imagery, we can see the image of this young lady here. She is confident in her character. She's presenting an image that is designed to teach something, to show something to the world. And everybody's character needs to have this underlying lesson. So this is really about how to direct minds. And this begins with each soul learning how to direct their own mind. And as they mature, they learn not only how to direct their personal mind, but the minds of everyone around them. So we need to go back to the origin here. When God first touched the material world, He fashioned everything, the trees and the animals, the entire universe, in His likeness. However, there was one creation which was distinctly different, and that was human beings. We were created in His likeness, just like everything else, but there was one thing that was different about us. We have the means, the ability to create in our own likeness, very much like how God does. No other creation can do that. All other creations have to create in the likeness that they were created in. Human beings can create in their own likeness. And that was what makes us so different. So what do? We create unique worlds. We dream up fantasies and wondrous worlds because that's what we want to do. That's what we were designed to do. And we don't simply stop there. We don't just create a unique world like God. We also create a unique character. Someone to frolic and play and have an adventure in the unique world that we've designed. So this is very much the process that God followed, and we're designed to do the same thing. So when we look at how to direct minds, there's 3 steps. First, you must create in your likeness, much like God, the whole world, a unique realm in your likeness. Then you must imprint your likeness. Use a character to press an image of who you are into the world and be aggressive about it. Your character needs to be exciting, needs to be someone who gets attention. And then finally, the ultimate manifestation is to be in your likeness. Because you'll notice, God didn't simply create the world and humanity. He didn't simply imprint His likeness on everything that exists. He also came as a human being. He was to be a human being because that is the ultimate step of creating instructive imagery. Not to just create your creation, but to actually be your creation. So I'm going to explain each of these 3 steps in detail and then show how they interconnect to bring forth instructive imagery. So, step 1, create in your likeness. Strangely enough, the first step is to think, to ponder, to consider. But what are you pondering? Well, let's look at our simple picture here. The mind's job is to express the soul. So when you think, you're fixating on the soul. And here's the challenge. The soul has no structure. The soul is spiritual, which means it has no atoms, it has no space, it has no time, it has no mass at all. But yet the mind is able to look into this formless soul and create a picture. But that takes time, it takes focus, it takes energy to manifest an image from reasonably nothing. But that's what the mind is designed to do, and it's very good at it. It has all this creative capacity to form things from nothing. That's what it does so well. So as an example, the soul gives a very crude picture, a crude concept, a almost formless structure, as we see on the left, the black and white simple photo, and the mind takes it and finds a place, an image for this concept, this idea, this perception of the soul. It has to put it somewhere that it will fit in the world, somewhere exciting, somewhere that makes sense, that allows the soul to be glorified in the material realm. That's what the mind does. It's extremely complex work. We don't know how it happens, but fortunately, the mind does it automatically. This is what the mind does. So each soul must trust their mind to fashion this crude concept within the soul and then put it into an exciting picture. That's what the mind does. Trust the mind to do that. So the step of creating in your likeness is about the soul trusting the mind to express whatever's in the soul in a picture. So then we go on to imprinting your likeness. Once you have this character, this image made in your likeness that your mind has created, you must emotionally imprint that onto the world. The fun thing about being a human being is emotions are about exaggeration. It's not about saying things the way they really are. It's about taking it to an extreme. Why? So you can get attention for your show, to leave an emotional imprint on everybody around you. However, there's a catch here. If you're just exaggerating to exaggerate, that's ridiculous. It's silly. It doesn't mean anything. You need to have a lesson, a reason for why you're exaggerating. You can't just exaggerate to exaggerate. Well, you can, but no one will pay attention to your show. No one will care about your character. If you want your character to be impactful, you must exaggerate with purpose. So, it may be important for you to have a very subtle imprint on the world, something elegant and soft, or maybe gargantuan and crazy and borderline freakish. But that's something that each soul must decide for their character. But no matter what, there must be an imprint. Your character must go into and press into the world. That is the job of the character. You create the character in your likeness, then it goes into the world and imprints you into the material realm. So that brings us to the final step. Once you create in your likeness and imprint your likeness onto the world, the final manifestation of this is to actually be in your likeness, to be your character, to fully commit, like God did, coming as a human being, fully commit to what you've created, so much so that you become your character. So again, let's look at the process. There's a very deep-rooted nervousness in the soul of allowing the mind, heart, and body to play the character to their utmost. Because the soul's like, I'm not really that character. That's not really me. I don't really think like that. I don't really feel like that. I don't really do things in that way. And that's true. The soul is formless. It has no space, no time, no mass, no matter. So of course it's not anything. But it can also be anything while being nothing at the same time. It doesn't fit into this world. The mind, heart, and body, though, they want something concrete. They want abilities. They want a name. They want emotions. They want a picture in the mind that's concrete. That's what they want. But the soul's nervous about that. It's like, it's not really me. But it doesn't matter. Remember, you're not your character. But if you commit to your character, go for it. Make a splash. It's about teaching a lesson. Your character is designed to show something to the world, to imprint something important that only you can imprint. And you're creating this character for that purpose. Let it make a splash. Be that character. Go for it. Because you can see in this picture here, each of these individuals is there's a character they want to play, and they're kind of playing it, but you see the nervousness in their faces. They're not sure, am I really this person? I don't know. I kind of want to go for it. It's exciting, but they can't really commit, which is why, one day a year people dress up like this. But we don't do it on a constant basis because the mind, heart, and body don't feel confident. They don't feel confident that they can really go for it. And that's the job of the soul. The soul must tell the mind, heart, and body, you can do this. This is important. I want you guys to go for it. And when they become confident, when the mind, heart, and body know this is who they are, And it's important. There's a lesson that needs to get out there. All of a sudden, they can start to think in ways that no one else can think. They start to feel in ways that no one else can feel. And they start to do things that no one else can do, because they're so confident in their character that no one is going to stop them. Now, as that confidence blooms, the character and the soul fuse together. You can't differentiate between the two. And remember, the soul is not the character, but the soul wants to play the character to the utmost in order to get this lesson out to the world. So you shouldn't be able to discern between the two. That's very important. So that's the ultimate expression, to be in the character that you've created. The character that you want to imprint on the world, play it fully. Give your mind, heart, and body the confidence to do that, because the life we create reveals the lesson we're teaching the world. So although these ideas are very exciting, we need to make this more concrete. So in our week 10 project, we're going to create the lesson, formulate the lesson for the character and the story. The first step is to explain in words what your origin teaches the world. The origin of your character has a lesson there. There's something to learn from that origin. And the reason your character has to be so exciting is so that that origin lesson gets out there. Because people need to know that, whatever it is, and you need to explain that in words. What does your origin teach the world? And then following suit, explain in words what your present teaches the world. The present state of your character, what does that teach? What is important about that for everybody to learn? And then finally, explain in words what your dream teaches the world. The ultimate manifestation of all of your work, of your story, of your character. Everything you're going to do is going to bring about this dream, and inside that dream is an important lesson. A lesson that the world needs. Put that into words as well. And as you develop this instructive imagery, then we'll be ready to formulate the emotional meaning, which will make your lesson impactful.